Hi, I'm Erin.
And I'm Mike. Welcome to our channel. All right, here's a little story about our visa issue. This is more of I guess, a tip and be aware video more than anything for anyone that is traveling in Thailand on a tourist visa and looking to extend their visa. We've experienced, and Aaron's in the room here with me, and Mike chime in, but experienced a lot of things here, and we were here, essentially, if you're traveling into Thailand from the U.S., you can be here for 60 days without extending a visa. We were here for 10 weeks, so 70 days, so we needed that extra extension. We had heard the process was not fun, to say the least. A lot of the Thai people talk about the bureaucracy and the paperwork involved, and there is a lot of that. And but we were prepared to waste a half a day and go to the immigration office and do that. The immigration process here in Thailand is an ever-changing beast. It's every couple days you got to check and see if you're coming into the country, what's required, what's not required, especially coming off the pandemic. It's an ever-changing thing. One of the new things that they had come up with was the TM30. Essentially, what you need for extending a visa is your TM70, TM30.
It's TM70.
Or
TM7.
TM7.
Which is a form that you complete yourself.
Yeah, okay, TM7, sorry. The TM30, even though the TM6, which is the exit card.
Right, is the bottom of your customs card from when you entered the country.
They said you don't need that anymore, but they still need it. You need copies of everything. You need copies of your passport, copies of the passport stamp, with the TM6 on there. Every copy has to be initialed by you. It's a whole lengthy process. So this is where we showed up, and they said, okay, well, you need to have the TM30. TM30 form is a form that is filled out by the people where you are staying. It's the way for the Fed here, the Thai government, to track kind of where tourists are and everything else in country.
Your address, like where you're staying.
Exactly. And so we went to do that, and we had been staying in Airbnbs. We had stayed in one Airbnb for a month-long stay right at the beginning. Other than that, we had done a week here, a week there, a week here, a week there, all over the place. And we happened to be in this condo that we had rented for a week, and we went to immigration office, and they informed us we need the TM30. We reached out to the host of the condo where we were staying, and they said, oh, no, you can't do that. If you go to immigration, you're going to get fined, and you're going to have all these problems with the government, and, you might not be welcome back, and kind of threatening us. And I'm like, this doesn't seem quite right. So with a little bit of due diligence on the phone, just looking up and Googling, it turns out that the host would have been liable and penalized because they hadn't filed the forms. And technically, if you're in a condo, you have to have, and you're staying for less than 1 month, you have to have a hotel license. Well, they didn't have the proper license. And so they would have had to have filed and paid taxes. Well, they didn't want to do that. So we were essentially staying kind of illegally, which wouldn't have been an issue. I mean, we rented the condo through Airbnb. Wouldn't have been an issue. No one would have ever known about it had we not been up for our visa renewal.
Yeah, we had no idea that us staying in an Airbnb when the owner did not have a license was breaking some kind of rule. We had no idea.
And we didn't know that the owner didn't file our TM30. So long story long, I went back to the owner, and I kind of, after I had a little bit of knowledge of what was going on, I said, well, boy, I'm not comfortable. I'm breaking the rules. I should probably talk to the juristic, who is the property manager, and they weren't supposed to rent it for short term, and then the Airbnb and all this stuff, and so it came down to, they said, no, we'll get you the paperwork you need, and we'll get it to you. But they kept pushing us off, and our week-long stay started we started burning through it. We had to be out on Monday on that stay. No, I'm sorry, on Tuesday. And our visas expired on Thursday, I think. So we didn't want to leave things to the last minute, and it was getting closer and closer to that. So they kept promising they were going to work with us and help us out, and nothing ever happened. And it got to be the weekend. Now everything's closed down, and it happened to be the King's birthday, wasn't it?
Yeah.
So it's a holiday weekend. So Friday, Saturday, Sunday was all closed down, and it was getting closer and closer, and it was really a concern of ours. Now, what would happen if we overstayed our visa? We get penalized. Well, there's a lot of things. One, we would get penalized if we made it to the immigration center at the airport. They would just charge us 500? Yeah, 500 baht per person for Aaron and I. There was no charge for Reagan, so 1,000 baht a day. Not a big deal. I mean, it would have cost us
$35.
Yeah,
$35 a day.
So not a huge deal. That wouldn't have been a big deal. But had we been caught without a proper visa and been here in the country illegally, we could have been detained. And I didn't want to leave that up to chance, obviously. The thought of my wife and daughter being in a detention center in Thailand was not a great thing. I'm like, that's a good way to lead to a divorce. But so we wanted to get this taken care of. And we pushed and we pushed and we pushed. And these people kept pushing off the date when they were going to get us the form we needed. And so they said, oh, well, we'll have it to you on Monday. And we were supposed to check out on Tuesday. Now, legally, the host, the owner of the condo, is supposed to file this paperwork within 24 hours. And so we're like, there's no way they're going to file this paperwork because it puts them in harm's way. And so they're going to screw us over. We were pretty confident of that. So that's when, at the time, we were in Jom Tien. And we said, okay, we know if we stay at a hotel, they've got to file it within 24 hours. So we said, let's book at a big box hotel chain so we know they're going to have to follow the rules. And we'll do that. So we rented in Pattaya a Holiday Inn room for 3 nights. For those of you that have watched our previous videos, that's why we went from Jom Tien to Pattaya for 3 nights.
Jom Tien's a nice beachy community, and Pattaya is kind of
crazy,
sleazy.
And so we did this just as a backup precautionary thing, and so we even did it a day early, even though we didn't have to check out of our condo until Tuesday. We wanted to make sure that paperwork was filed and we had time to get everything done. And so we went ahead and we booked a hotel to check into on Monday. And Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday night, staying in a hotel in town just to make sure we could get everything hammered out. We did that. It got to be Monday, and I'm fuming because now the host won't respond to any of our messages. And we got up, we got ready, we had everything ready because they said, we'll be there when it opens. I messaged them on Saturday saying, hey, it opens at 8 o'clock, 8:30 in the morning. What time do you want to meet us? You have some of our paperwork we need. Let's get this done. And they didn't respond. They didn't respond until Monday. I shot them a message again at 9 o'clock in the morning saying, hey, do you have an update for me? Nothing. So we were done. I was really pissed. We were going to check into the hotel later that day. It is what it is. And around 10:30, I get a message from the host saying, hey, I'm at immigration. Where are you? And I'm like, okay, well, that's great that you're there. You didn't give us any heads up. So we quick ran out the door, jumped on a bus, got there, and sure enough, they had the paperwork. And we were able to get our visa extended and got everything taken care of, which was awesome because that took a huge, burden off our shoulders. And we knew we were there legally now and had no concerns. So we were able to get that hammered out. We still went to the hotel. We had already bought and paid for it for 3 nights. We went there. We stayed for 3 nights. We wanted out of that condo anyways just because we were pissed off at the host. But everything ended up working out. But moral of the story is if you're going to be here on visa, on a tourist visa specifically, and you're going to need to extend that visa, make sure if you're staying in an Airbnb that it's at least a month condo, or if not, you're staying in a hotel around the time of your extension, you're going in for your extension, just to make sure that TM30 is filled out and there for you.
The one thing that you need to re-up your visa that you don't have control of is this TM30.
Yes.
You need other people to complete a form, and that's the hardest part. The rest of it, you have. You're going to have your passport, you're going to have the stamp, you're going to have your vaccine card, and the little piece of paper that they give you when you fill out a customs form when you enter the country. And again, the TM30 just confirms where you're staying at the time that you're requesting the extension of your visa. You don't have to list the address for the rest of your stay, just where you're staying at the time that you're requesting the extension.
Good point. So that's the moral of the story is that one piece of paper is something that's definitely needed. I think the one thing we took from it, though, we're true believers in it. If you have a problem and you can't fix it yourself, throw money at it and make it go away. So I think on a run forward, and the advice I'd give is network with some expat groups in the region that you're in, and ask them who's a reliable agent. Now these agents, they sit there at immigration all day and they run in and out, and they've got all the back room handshakes and everything else, and it might cost you a couple thousand baht on top, but if it gets you in and out of there in an hour versus 4 or 5, what's your time worth? And what's the stress of not having to deal with that and knowing it's all taken care of? What's that worth? So that's the video. This is the warning. If you're extending a tourist visa in Thailand, watch out for this. But other than that, hope you enjoyed the video and have a great day.